Rollins attacks the Vision, and a new IC champion. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Okay, so Monday Night Raw kicked off the real road to WrestleMania now after the Elimination Chamber. So we've no more PLEs, no more stops, just weekly all the way to WrestleMania now. So this really felt like the first Raw on the road to WrestleMania. It brought the chaos, it brought the energy. It was a crazy, fast-paced episode for the first hour or so. So first off, we saw the Vision out in the ring, Paul Heyman calling out Seth Rollins, saying how basically he's not going to stand for this and it's an outrage that he was attacking the Vision and caused Logan Paul the Elimination Chamber match. And then masked men appear, decoys, to take Austin Theory and Logan Paul out of the ring, only for Seth Rollins to come in behind Paul Heyman, attack him with a chair, and then hit him with a curb stomp and bust him open. Cinema. Absolute cinema this segment was. And then we see the whole scuffle with the security, and we see Paul Heyman getting taken backstage to an ambulance. When he's getting taken to the ambulance, we see Logan Paul and Austin Theory come, and they're trying to console him essentially and figure out what happened while they were away. Only for Jimmy Uso to get out of a car and start punching them around and throwing them around the backstage area, for him to go to talk to the ambulance man and say, right, let's take him away. And it's LA Knight driving the ambulance. So this whole segment was excellent. Like a 10 out of 10 segment for me. Really like a callback to early 2000s, mid 2000s Raw and SmackDown episodes, like when we seen Teddy Long in the limousine with Undertaker, and backstage attacks that used to happen kind of consistently, I feel like, but maybe it could be just nostalgia in my head. But excellent viewing for the first 25 or so minutes of Raw. But this is exactly what that feud needs. Now, I think it was the same arena as well where Seth Rollins attacked the Shield at that time with the chair from the same angle, so poetic justice as well. Love when they do stuff like this. But overall, excellent segment. Sets up nicely Seth Rollins and the Vision going into WrestleMania as well, I think. But it's always good to see Paul Heyman get involved in a scuffle. Then we go straight into Dragon Lee and Gunther, and my goodness, what a match. This match was a pay-per-view, was a WrestleMania quality match, I'm going to say it. That was a phenomenal match. Like, we know Gunther is excellent. Some people are calling him boring, they're kind of sick of the whole shtick. But we hear the statistic as well on the announce table that he hasn't lost a singles match outside of a championship match since he came to the main roster, which is outrageous. But and he doesn't want to lose here either. But what a match. Like an excellent match overall. Dragon Lee, the crowd were into it from the minute it started to the minute it ended. On occasions, it felt like Dragon Lee was going to get the upper hand and win the match. And we all know Dragon Lee can go. He was great in the tag team with AJ Styles. He's been great after that. I'm watching AAA all the time, and he's on there putting on excellent matches after excellent matches every week when he is on the show. So, a stellar match. If this is a feud they keep going to WrestleMania, I'm okay with it, honestly. I feel like it might be something else, but I don't know what they're going to do with Gunther for WrestleMania. But if it's Dragon Lee and it's going to be another match like that, even a no DQ or something like that, sign me up, because that was an excellent match. That concludes that first maybe 45 minutes to an hour of Raw, and it was just all out carnage. Like the pace, the segment with Seth Rollins and the Vision, and then straight into the Dragon Lee and Gunther match. I just wanted more. That was just an excellent hour of television, and I know it's the road to WrestleMania, so they're always going to pull out all the stops, and we get this every year kind of going into WrestleMania. But if they could do this consistently, they have the roster to do it nowadays. If you could have, obviously you don't need to build such big storylines every week after WrestleMania, I understand that. But if we could have pace like this all the time, it would be excellent viewing. And it'd keep me awake when I have to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch the whole show. Or 3:30 as it is now. But still, excellent viewing. I have to say, Raw was excellent this week. Another few talking points was Jimmy Uso then gets a match against the Vision, against Logan Paul, I think it was. It's one of them anyway. It was Austin Theory, and Logan Paul interferes with a disqualification, only for Jey Uso is music to hit, and I'm to come in behind and attack the two lads with the crutches. So another great little segment that we got there as well. I'm not even a huge fan of Jimmy or JU, so like they're grand, they do the job. I'm sick of the yeeting, but like grand performers, they don't bother me. Great tag team, and when they do defend the titles. But it was excellent to see Jay back and they attacked him with the crutches. It's always good to see little moves like that, and I love when they bring these little segments into the match, especially if they're throwing out the match. We also had an AJ Lee promo when she was talking about how she's basically issuing an open challenge. Like, yeah, like I feel like AJ Lee has fallen flat since she came back. I'm not huge on what she's doing. I wasn't huge on the promo. She kind of starts going on about like how they tried to erase me and all this, and from what I remember, that wasn't really the case. Like, they kind of just didn't like Punk, and she was kind of a byproduct of that. But whatever, it doesn't matter now, she's back. And even though it is good to see her back, I just wish there was a bit more about her. Like, and another open challenge just feels like a bit of a cop-out now at this stage. But we see later on Lyra Valkyria and Bayley talking about how she doesn't want Bayley to be left out Mania and she should go for the title, so let's go to Adam Pearce. Only to see Io Sky come out, so kind of confirms my suspicions that Io's going to go after the IC title now going forward. And Becky Lynch is obviously still going to be in the mix as well, I'd assume. And then on to the other big talking point of the night. Penta versus Dominik Mysterio. So backstage we have the Judgment Day about to go to the ring, and Danhausen appears, and it's my first dealing with Danhausen. Never seen anything about him before. Didn't see him in AEW. I believe he's been off TV for a long time as well. And he gives his list of demands first off to Adam Pearce, which was very funny, looking for a Hall of Fame induction and a pointing picture with Triple H and a piece of paper that was supposedly after falling down the toilet and everything. So it was entertaining to say the least. Only for him to give a box of teeth or a little jar of teeth to Dominik and say he's cursed. I feel like this could actually go somewhere. Like, maybe Dominik goes on a losing streak now. He has Rey de Reyes coming up where he's going to fight El Hijo de Vikingo, and he's going to fight for he's going to defend his Triple A title as well. So will he drop that there as well? I would have thought he's going to drop it anyway. So is this the Danhausen course now? Are they going to work him into this feud? But yeah, he courses Dominik and they go out. Penta versus Dominik then for the IC title. Excellent match again. Look, Dominik is great. We all know he's great. Penta is phenomenal. One of my favourites on the roster currently. And he's been kind of challenging in and around this title now for the past year or so, I want to say, in or around. So it's great to see him actually get the win here. And he doesn't just get the win. What happens is Finn and JD are actually ringside on the chair, and Dom calls for the ring bell's hammer. JD goes to get it, and Finn turns around and says, no, let him do it himself. He said he wants to do it himself. And then he costs Dominik the IC title against Penta. Penta picks up the win. A well-deserved title after a long little run trying to get to the belt. Hopefully he holds it for a while. I can see him making it through Mania with the IC title, in fairness. If he goes against Dom again, he's going to retain, I'd assume. But I reckon it's going to go somewhere else. Because based on what we saw, the Judgment Day are crumbling. Not just the Judgment Day, it seems more like Finn Balor is ready to leave the Judgment Day and make his way back into the main event scene as the prophecy has foretold, as it should be. But right now it seems like it's going to set up that Mania match like I thought as well. He cost Dominik the match. It was a good way to do it as well. It wasn't like a cheap shot to Dominik or a missed move and it hits Dominik or anything like that. It was a genuine Finn standing on business. You're not taking that. You're doing it the right way. You're going to win on your own for him to cost him the match. So it was good to see something a bit different and not just the same tactics of how to split up a tag team or how to split up a faction. So yeah, it was good to see, and I think it's definitely going to lead into WrestleMania for Dom and Finn. But yeah, I think Danhausen has put a course for real on Dominik, and it could lead to a losing streak maybe, or a cool little storyline with those guys. So we'll see how that goes. But that really concludes Raw. It was an excellent Raw, the first real Raw on the way to Raw to WrestleMania. So it was excellent to see. Great pace, chaos from the outset. So let me know below what you thought of Raw. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.